All right, I'm on hole number 6 of the 2020 St. Patrick's Day Tournament. I'm in Tuesday's qualifying round in the Ricky division, and hole number 6 is Drew Moore Links. It's hole number 6. So yesterday, this is a hole that I wanted to give a second look at because we played this in one tournament, and I have come out here on one-on-one play, and if you can lay it up into this area and you can get as far as you can up into the tip, the angle that you're coming in at the green here, you do have a better rough bump. But what I wanted to see is if I just laid it up right into this area right here, like what my rough bump opportunity was, and I did not like that rough bump. And here's the way that the rough works up there is like here's the green and here's the rough, and you're coming at it like this, and in order to get the trajectory so you're going to the hole, your second bounce is literally right there. Even if you hit it perfect, you still take the risk of, if you don't get the wind absolutely right, you're clipping the rough and you're just bleeding out. Anything to the left, you're stuck in the rough. And so I really didn't like the angle that we were coming in at it from here. So this boils it down to two options: pound it out here so that you can come in at it, or you could try laying it up here and trying to do this. It is hard to get the ball to stop. This is a setup shot, and you're going to have to bring a monster club in order to get this distance. Like if you draw the arc, like I was in wood from out here, so if you draw the arc to that point and you draw an arc across here, this was with a sniper, and so you may be able to do it out here with a big dog or a bigger power ball, but you're going to have to bring out a bigger club than the sniper in order to get that distance. You may have to bounce off of this fairway and get it over there, and that's kind of diminishing your angle. I'm going to go for hitting it out here. I think this is the way right here. I'm just going to go back to our normal shot. So we have two choices. We can bring out an extra mile, or we can bring out a big dog, or excuse me, a big topper. And either one will work. If you have an extra mile 9, I'm going to try my extra mile 9 because I want to see kind of what it looks like. But you could bring a big topper and you'll probably net, in most cases, depending on if you've got an extra mile 8 and you're using a Titan, the king of balls, and you have a big topper, you will net more yards with your big topper. Now, if you've got a big topper, I think at level 6 it does get just a little bit of distance, but it might not be until level 7 and 8 when it gets the more distance on it. But if you've got a big topper, most people are going to probably have it in the level 4 range, somewhere in there, maybe level 5. If you've got this big topper up, you may, and traditionally extra mile 8 versus big topper, you're going to net more yards with the big topper. But I'm going to try out my extra mile 9. It's a new club for this hole, as far as we didn't have it the last time this was in the tournament, the one and only time that it was in the tournament. As far as club coming in, I'm going to bring a sniper, and I think I like those clubs. It's very unlikely I'll end up in my long iron range, but if you pound it out there far enough, you could end up in your long iron range, and the big top or the Grizzly hits 126 versus your Goliath at 135. So the big club in the category is the Goliath. Could pick up a little bit more distance, but lose a little bit of ball guy with the backbone. Saturn loses even more distance. I think that's my choices. I could use that. I could bring out, because if we shoot this shot, you're not going to need, I'm not sure whether you shouldn't need a lot of topspin or backspin if you were in your long iron range. You should be able to work that out, and the B52 might not be a bad choice. So we've got some choices here. I'm going to bring my Grizzly just to see what it looks like. More than likely, I'll end up in my long iron or my wood range, but I might end up in my long iron. I can't remember. It's been so long since I played this hole where I was pounding it out there, and yesterday I didn't try that at all, and I didn't catch this hole in practice. So we shall see. If you watch my stuff and you're like, I have no idea what anybody else says. I don't watch. I know other streamers, and I talk to them. We talk a lot after the tournament, and I go to their streams when they're playing, and I've played one-on-one with them when we're like this time we were able to practice some of the holes, and I played with Hammer and Hank. But I try not to watch the stuff because I really want to. It's the difference between owning the material and borrowing the material. And so when I'm talking to you guys about like, I know this adjustment works, I know that stuff works because it's working. If it's working for me, it's working, it's working. And I know that there are a lot of people out there that don't use the app that do the paper math, and I do the paper math. And so usually if I can figure something out that works for me, it should work for most people. Extra mile 9. Look at that extra mile 9 out there, that extra distance getting past that. It's definitely going to be the way to go at it. I tried that rough bump yesterday, but whoo, that was close. Woo, that was close on that first bounce. I used to be a trainer, and I do these 8-hour training sessions, and people walk up to me at the end and they go, "You did that whole class and you don't have any notes." And that's because I owned the material. I don't need notes. They were super close. And I'm going to take the wind out because I don't need to get that damn greedy. And I'm going to take out a full 2 rings. That's 4.2, so that'd be about a 10% wind adjustment. I'm going to lean a little to the left. Isn't it perfect? Let's see what kind of range that gives me with no overpower. Now I could bring out a big power ball and get even farther forward. My whole goal is to try and hit these where I'm not doing any overpower because it makes the shot more consistent. You can see my opponent got out there a little bit farther with that by leaving the wind in. And they're definitely in their long iron range, but they've got the big long iron in the category, which is the Goliath. I'm probably going to be in my minimum wood. And from this angle, my minimum wood should be about 1.5 per ring. We'll see. I haven't played this shot all week, so like I said, we'll have to work it out today. See if we can get our distance right. There's minimum wood, so I'm in minimum wood. 2 rings off. Let's see if I got enough side spin to work me to the hole. See if I can eke it up just a little. I'm in minimum club. That's 1.5 per ring. And I'm going right at the flagpole. So not doing any extra wind adjustment. Just doing a 1.5. There's 3. That's about 2.5 rings. Just trying to hit it perfect. Hitting it perfect. Should get a good read if we need to make a wind adjustment here or what that looks like. And it was off, so it blew it off. And the green is uphill from where I was at, so we may need to take off about 10% on that hole. So I'm going to do minus 10%. Now what I could do there is bring out a bigger power ball and not do any overpower, just bring out a bigger power ball so that I can get farther down into that hole and work myself into my long iron range, and it'll give me a better angle so I don't have to do any side spin. And try and bring out like a 4 or 5 power ball. I have to go back and watch that video to see how much raw distance I had, because my opponent left the wind in and it was like 3 something, and they damn near hit they were super close. So you probably could only get away with a 4 power ball. If you brought a 5 power ball out, you might actually have to move it back a little bit and would be short shooting it, and that doesn't do you any good. And the 4 power ball is going to put you more into your next club if you wanted to bring a club that has better accuracy and more ball guide. And I'd really like to take that shot with a Grizzly as opposed to taking it with a Goliath. I'm going to forfeit. Still working on how I want to come at that. That's the only hole that I'm really and hole number 4, that par 3. I'm still trying to figure out exactly how I want to play them this week. But I do think going straight forward like that is probably the way. All right, that was hole number 6 of the 2020 St. Patrick's Day tournament and Tuesday's qualifying round in the rookie division. Thanks for watching.